All right, welcome back everybody to Altcoin Daily. My name's Austin. Hit subscribe because a former Barclays exec is launching the UK's first regulated crypto bank in 2020. Check this out. Mark Hipperson, who is the head of technology for the Barclays Group for over a decade, as well as the co-founder and former CTO at UK challenger bank Starling, so he's a man that's been in traditional finance for decades. He definitely has the experience. He is planning a Q1 2020 launch for his latest digital bank venture, Ziglu. So the question is, what is Ziglu? Billing itself as the next step in the challenger bank concept, the all-digital account will allow multiple currencies, both fiat and both digital, to be held in the same account. Great start to 2020, because not only in this bank will you be able to hold the euro, the dollar, the yen, but you'll be able to hold Bitcoin, maybe Libra coin, and any other cryptocurrency that they deem worthy of their bank. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Austin, I got into Bitcoin to get rid of centralized third parties. I want to be my own bank. I want to hold my own digital currency. And yes, that's important. I would also say yes, these are just part of the growing pains of mass adoption. But I would even argue that what's more important than me as an individual, being able to hold, be self-sovereign, being able to hold my own Bitcoin, I would say what's more important is giving the individual the choice. And this free account at Ziglu will not just be able to hold balances in multiple currencies, but also freely exchange funds between them. Foreign currencies will be able to buy and sell at interbank rates, and cryptocurrency purchases and sales will be available at the best price across multiple exchanges. Not only that, but according to the Ziglu website, which I'll show you in a sec, any currency held on the account can be spent anywhere in the world using a MasterCard debit card. That includes cryptocurrencies, which will be converted instantly at point of sale. So you can keep your Bitcoin on a debit card from the Ziglu bank. Here is the website. This is launching in Q1 of 2020, and you know what? I'd say this is a great start. I expect to see more of this in the next decade in 2020. Banks saying that, hey, we want to be part of traditional finance as well as digital finance. I like it. Comment below what you think down below in the comments. We are also today talking about the Philippines. We're talking about Bitcoin. We have an update for you on MetaMask and Google. And the second story of today, we are talking about Ripple. Ripple plans to expand its partnerships with Brazilian banks in 2020. So if you are invested in the company of Ripple, this is good news for you. Blockchain payments firm Ripple, which recently hit a valuation of $10 billion for the company, is targeting more partnerships with Brazilian banks in the coming year. So what are these partnerships? How are they expanding in Brazil? Well, the firm's current focus, as you know, is to coordinate with banks and regulators in the country, Brazil, to make remittances more efficient. Luiz Antonio Sacco, managing director of South America at Ripple, told Reuters Brazil. So we are getting this information directly from the people at Ripple. I am on the lookout for confirmation from some of these Brazilian banks. As soon as I get that, I will make a video. I will let you know. But Ripple doesn't have nothing in Brazil. Ripple launched operations in Brazil earlier this year. I guess now they mean last year, 2019, and already had partnerships with Santander, Bradesco, Rendimento, and other banks in the country. Of course, right now, they are just using Ripple software, not necessarily the XRP token, although I'll keep you updated. And most cross-border payment transactions in Brazil are currently processed via SWIFT, which is the traditional, that's the legacy system, which is expensive and can take up to a week per the report. Sacco said transfers via Ripple, as opposed to via SWIFT, via Ripple could cost up to 10% of the amounts charged by the banks. So instead of 100%, they could take that down to 10%. I like it. I'll keep you updated. Keep in mind, I am looking for confirmation specifically from some of these Brazilian banks on how big they are and exactly if they're using XRP. Now, the reason I am a little bit skeptical is because Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse did say at the beginning of 2019, last year, that dozens of new banks will be using XRP in 2019. I never quite saw the list of those dozens of banks, But for this year, I'll be on the lookout. I'll keep you updated. And if you think I'm being a little too critical of Ripple, I think I'm just as critical of Cardano and Litecoin and all these companies making progress, making promises. I want to see the progress. I think that's reasonable. I think that's why you subscribe, for some facts. But either way, next piece of news, green flag out of Google. I guess this was a mistake too. MetaMask returns to Google after a 1-week ban. So that crypto censorship we saw from YouTube, which was a mistake, Google, I guess, is now saying that, oh, MetaMask was fine. That was just a mistake too. After ending 2019 with bad news of being banned on Google Play, Ethereum crypto wallet and dApp platform MetaMask managed to make a comeback on January 1st, 2020. I guess it was a Happy New Year's for MetaMask. I like it. Per usual, I have pulled the exact confirmation for you. From MetaMask, Happy New Year. Upon careful consideration, Google has permitted the MetaMask mobile app back on Google Play, Android store, thanks to all the believers in an open web for speaking out in our support. So Ethereum holders can now continue to download MetaMask and store their Ethereum from the Google Play Store on MetaMask. I like it. Yep, I guess that's it. Next piece of news. We hit all-time highs again, at least for hash rate, and now Bitcoin's hash rate is now 7 times the size it was during the 2017 all-time highs. So when Bitcoin was hitting 20K, we were 7 times less of the hash rate from where we are now. As you can see, new all-time highs we just hit. Now what this means is, it means there's many miners right now betting big that the price of Bitcoin will be more bullish than bearish in this next decade, really in this next few years, that they expect they'll get a heavy return by putting all their mining power, all their electricity towards getting more Bitcoin. I like it. While Bitcoin price may be going through a period of consolidation, around 7K at the moment, and frankly, after the year that was 2019, who isn't going through a period of consolidation, the network fundamentals are as strong as ever. In fact, the hash rate is currently almost 7 times as large as it was during BTC's all-time high price. Seems like every month we get this headline that Bitcoin hash rate hit new all-time highs, but that's because that's true. This has never been seen before in Bitcoin's 11-year history. You tell me. But next piece of news, the IMF urges the Philippine Central Bank to collect crypto exchange data. So a bit of a red flag, but it's nothing that we didn't expect. The International Monetary Fund, the IMF, has encouraged the Philippines Central Bank to explore the possibility of starting to collect data on cross-border flows of crypto assets. The IMF made the recommendation in a technical assistance report paper released on December 30th, a few days ago, based on data from the fund's Monetary and Financial Statistics mission in the country in July of 2019. So let's cut to the chase. Let's look at the exact quote and talk about what this means for the Philippines and maybe in the future if this sort of regulation comes down on countries besides the Philippines, which it already has, really, in some. The Philippines may become an important market for crypto assets, as the BSP recently authorized operations for 3 more virtual currency exchanges, VCEs, bringing the total number of approved VCEs to 10. So the Philippines could be a big player in the future for cryptocurrency. And what these regulations mean are the mission proposed that the BSP requests aggregated data on gross transactions from the exchange on a quarterly basis. So that means that 4 times a year, they would be handing your data over to the regulators. And the data should indicate both the country of origin and destination of the funds transacted. It noted, and would be most useful if it were broken down to reveal the parties involved in the transactions between individuals, financial and non-financial corporations. So they want everything. They want it all. And honestly, I'm sure most of these places will bend the knee to regulators like the IMF. And I don't know, we'll probably be seeing more of this over the next decade, I believe. I mean, how do you get away with this? How do you get away from this? seems an inevitable part of the growing pains of mass adoption. That is the video for today. Like always, my name's Austin. Happy 2020.